welcome to Autocar Professional Trends Podcast. This is our first Trends podcast and it is at the end of year 2025. So we are going to look back on the year and spot top 10 trends. What are these trends? I have with me Mr. Arun Malhotra, who is an auto industry veteran, and we'll talk about these trends with him. Thank you so much, Arun, for talking to us today.
Thank you, Mugdha, for having me on the show.
What an interesting year. We started the year thinking that the growth will be muted, maybe 1%. Siam was expecting a very muted year, but thankfully it is a little more than that.
Absolutely right. Actually, the first 9 months, January to September, there was no growth.
Yeah.
It was flat. And it seemed that it might have even declined. But then the GST magic came into play. And October to December, if you look at the quarter, we would have grown by 18%. But effectively, throughout the year, 5.5% growth, which is a very good growth considering where we were in September.
True. It did not look like it's going to be that kind of growth. But this GST benefit, don't you think it has tapered now by December? December seems to be a little bit more muted than what we were expecting.
It has, but still, I think the positive impact is there. Because if you look at dealers, even this offtake of this December is fairly good.
Okay.
Generally, December is a month where the offtake goes down, the retail goes up. But here the offtake figures, you'll be pleasantly surprised. December offtake figures are good. So overall, still positive.
GST has other ramifications as well, in the sense that GST now is the same for petrol, diesel, and the gap between EV and petrol, diesel has come down, CNG included. How has that impacted everything?
So, you're right. GST, there were a number of categories. Now you only have two categories, 18% and 40%, and 5%. So as far as EV is concerned, it's remained 5%. But a major part of vehicles have come back down from 28 to 18%. To that extent, the gap between EVs and the sub 4 meter vehicles has gone down from 23 to 30%. Now, looking the other part on diesel always used to have a cess on it.
Yeah.
And hybrid used to get an advantage. So, you used to have a GST and then the top of it, there was cess. Hybrid had no cess. Diesel had more, CNG had less. Effectively, everybody is in the same field. So the cess has disappeared, and now at 40% GST, which most of the hybrids are, it is 40% for hybrids, 40% for diesel, 40% for CNG.
Yeah.
So everybody is on a level playing field, but net gainer, if you really look at it, has been petrol and diesel.
Okay, now let's talk about what all the GST impacted in terms of growth. In terms of small cars as well, because the taxation benefit, the gap between the taxation benefit reduced. So what was the significant impact of GST according to you?
So effectively GST, I think it helped all the vehicles, the prices went down.
Yeah.
Not only for vehicles which are 28% or below sub 4 meter, but even for vehicles, luxury cars. They used to have 40% GST, 8% cess.
Yeah.
So they also gone down to 40%. Effectively, the price drops have been between 7 to 10%. And the good part is, a lot of people thought that since the price has come down, the manufacturers will reduce their schemes. That didn't happen. Probably the big brothers were watching. And otherwise also, I think they had their more appetite for growth. So effectively, there was a price drop in the market. And then it set off a slightly, I'd say, a positive wave.
Yeah.
The positive sentiment picked up. People say, hey, it's a great time to buy. Plus 2 or 3 times also Tata and Maruti also to put some models in special prices over and above the GST. So effectively, everybody's gained. There's a positivity. The prices are good. The value is good. Since the market is very competitive, nobody is raising prices. So it's a great thing and GST has happened. But about your second part, how is it impacted? Now, if you look at it from 28 to 18%, a lot of people say small cars have gained. But below sub 4 meter, there are 60% of the market is that. The real small car is at a much lower price band, or we would say a 3.6 meter length. They've also had the same drop. So proportionately, the mini car hasn't really gained. It's everybody's gained. That's a part of it. And then the hybrid, which one was thought was to be government must give special support. Because of the cest getting discontinued, hybrid is on the same field as petrol, diesel, and CNG. And diesel has lived to see another day because diesel prices actually went down for every type of vehicle because there was no cess. So that's interesting time. But overall market, it has helped a lot. And industry is also correspondingly doing a lot of good pricing and good competitive schemes. So great time for the customer.
One important aspect of this year is the fact that number 2 became number 4 in just 1 year. We are talking about Hyundai. They were the number 2 players, but now the Indian players, Mahindra and Tata's are 2 and 3. Mahindra is number 2, Tata's is number 3, and they keep shuffling between the two. What has led to this? Of course, there is a big point of SUVs, but Hyundai, do you think is gonna have a tough year ahead as well?
Well, auto industry is more like a marathon race.
Yeah.
So this year, the positions may have changed. It can change again. So it's not that it's cast in stone. Now, effectively, if you look at this year, Mahindra had portfolio which is across the board.
Yeah.
I mean, all the products were firing, whether it's a Thar, whether XV300, XV700, Bolero, and Scorpio, the superstar. Whereas in case of Hyundai, there was over dependence on 2 vehicles, especially the 2 SUVs which were there, the Creta and the Venue. 60% of sales was coming from there. The sedan and hatchback volumes went down. And the second part is Tata and Mahindra both had an EV portfolio.
Yeah.
Tata sells about 6,500-7,000 EVs a month. Mahindra, after the launch of the 2 new vehicles which are born new, their volumes are around 3,500 to 4,000. Hyundai effectively has only about 400-500 vehicles of Creta. They have still to launch the offensive on EVs.
Yeah.
So this EV thing and this SUV growing and the over dependence on sedan and hatchback, which used to be a good volume for Hyundai, has gone down. That's, I think. And also there were no new product launches for Hyundai. That also makes a big difference. Probably the next year could be different. But yes, after 25 years, the number 2 position has been taken by somebody else. Hyundai has held this crown from 99, 2000 to 2024. So 25-year reign disrupted. Let's see what the future holds.
Well, but they have already announced a product.
Absolutely.
Offensive.
They are not going to take it easy. They've got their own aggressive product plans. They've got the technology backup. So we are here for interesting times.
But the Indian manufacturers have also tasted blood. Now they have seen success and they are launching product after product. They don't leave any of our weekends alone. We get one press release from them every weekend. And if it's a holiday, it's definitely one release is coming.
No. You're absolutely right. They're aggressive. They've raised the game in terms of technology, in terms of quality, in terms of new products. So they come of age.
And pricing as well.
And pricing.
Get CB9 pricing.
Pricing is also very aggressive.
Yeah.
So the extent is there, but it's a close fought still race. I mean, it's not that much dramatic differences. There is a difference. So let's see what the future holds for it.
So you're saying that the competition is still on.
The competition is on. It's a marathon race. I'm just saying it's not a T20, it's a test match.
But what about Maruti? Their average market share now is at 40%. If you see last year, it used to be 43, 44, and before that it was higher. Their market share is slowly shrinking. I think there is another point that we have to discuss a little later, which are small cars. But what do you think of Maruti?
See, Maruti is still the clear leader. I mean, we may underestimate it, but 40% market share, which they'll have this year, is a phenomenal market share. There are 12 manufacturers in the market, and Kia has come in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
That's a full-fledged market competitor in the market. To that extent, they've held the market share. But as you rightly mentioned, the SUV play is getting bigger and bigger, and which is now contributing 2/3 of the market. And they have a good share. They have the HLI SUVs, but the market share can't be the same. And clearly, small cars are taking a hit, mini cars.
One thing that I always feel, because they are the number 1 player, and if others grow by their own strategies and by their own hard work, they will eat into Maruti's share only. Or do you think they will still be able to defend their shares?
See, now, your definition of defending share, they will be the clear leader. See, they are at 40%, the next company is at 14%.
Yeah.
So there is no way in the near future, anybody can come anywhere near them. Now, the question is, they have got the CNG Act right, which is there, but they've discontinued diesel. And diesel is here to stay now. A lot of people think diesel will disappear. So these are challenging times. And Maruti is still not got into the EV game. They're launching their product now, but they're not really got seriously. So let's see what it unfolds. But anybody to maintain that 40% plus market share, you have to be present in all segments at a respectable level. And that's, I think, the challenge for Maruti.
Now, let's talk about fuel mix, which we have touched upon a little bit. But diesel seems to be winning this year.
So, petrol has taken a major hit.
Why do you say that?
Because 57% used to be petrol contribution in the passenger vehicles is gone down to 52. 5% in 1 year. And everybody's gained, if you look at it. Your EV is gained. Your EV has gone up from 2.4 to 4.6, a 2% jump. Your CNG is gained. It's crossed the 20% barrier. It's at 20.4. Your diesel has gained. It's gained by 1% and it's touched 19.6. And if the last 2 months are indicator, it is touching 20%. So, and hybrid, nearly the same from 2.4 to 2.6. So everybody has gained at the expense of petrol. That's the challenge. That's the fuel mix which has changed. The GST has also impacted it, and also the type of products which people are making, because the bigger SUVs are basically more diesel.
So now diesel is again making a comeback.
I would say comeback. I wouldn't say it'll come a very sharp comeback, but the general impression was that diesel will just wither away or disappear. That's not happening. And 20% is a reasonable volume by any stretch of imagination. Especially if somebody does crystal gazing 3 years back, there was a report from Petroleum Ministry, something that diesel will just disappear from towns with population of over 1 million. That's not happened.
And the other aspect, other big, actually it's not a change, it's just continuing, the dominance of SUVs. I mean, they have captured the imagination of, I think, not just Indians. In fact, across the world, SUVs are the preferred body style. But does that mean the sedans are failing?
Well, sedans are stuck at that 8-9%. Although sedans haven't dropped this year. Hatchback has dropped. But the point is, as you said, the SUV, the juggernaut of SUV and MPV, which was 65 from 58, 60, 65 has gone to 67. So it's more than 2/3 of the market. And clearly you have SUV products across segments now at a very competitive prices, starting from 6 lakhs, 7 lakhs. Who would have thought that? So clearly SUV is here to stay because people are realizing the value of it. And hatchbacks, sedans have taken a hit. All the 8% used to be much, much higher than this. And hatchback, I think, which is coincides with the small cars even, because they are hatchback, which is declining. So clearly SUV is the clear leader. There is no two opinion on that. And the juggernaut is just rolling on and on.
So no silver lining for sedans?
They're stuck to the same percentage. So that's the silver lining. 7%, 8%.
You exist. That's your silver lining.
Really, you exist. There are models which are there. Yeah. Maruti has a model which is there. Desire is there. And you have models from Skoda and
But isn't
Volkswagen.
it true that sedans are surviving because of the shared mobility business model?
Not really, because there also you have a lot of hatchbacks. If you look at the mass market, which is more wagon-R related. So not really. And you have also the other models which are also hatchbacks also. So that's not going to give them a real big. And models have been discontinued. Ciaz is out of the market now.
Yeah.
Etios is out of the market 3 years back. So effectively you had 2 major stars out of the market. You have models, but still small at this point of time.
Okay, so you think that there are personal buyers who...
Yeah, there will be, and there will be also fleet buyers. But there will be, if it from 7-8% can go to 10%, that will be creditable. But they were nowhere good to, I can say, challenge the dominance of the SUVs.
All right, the big change that happened this year is on policy front, and of course the E20 fuel is what I'm talking about. There was a lot that was being talked about, but now we have all settled in with the E20 petrol mix.
Yeah, actually, I mean, this E10, E50 was going on.
Yeah, but for a long time.
A long time. So it was like a Swiss bank secret in some way. And then E20, when it burst and the media took it up,
I think social media.
Mass media, even main media, take it up. So E20 definitely, and then this noise that your actual fuel consumption is going down. It may adversely affect the performance.
Yeah.
And fuel efficiency, that's clear. It's gone down by 3 to 4%, and the prices didn't come back, go down because of petrol, because of this E20.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of emissions and other things, E20 is a better fuel, and in terms of foreign exchange saving, it does help both bills.
That is
So
most important.
so if you look at the bigger interest, the E20 is the right step. Now only you have to keep on working this technology, and you have to soothe the tempers of people who bought old vehicles, who have a lot of apprehensions that I don't know what will happen to our vehicle after 3 years. Nothing is going to happen there. Some fuel efficiency drop is there, but nothing is going to happen there. There's no visible proof that something adverse has happened.
Yeah, only when the product is really old, then over time there might be some corrosion. But I believe even the replacement of that is not that expensive. It's what people say in defense of E20, but
so there is
only time will tell what actually impacts. I think the bigger pain point was the fact that the benefit that was being accrued on by mixing E20 was not passed on, and I think that is a valid argument that. If you have mixed E20, if you have mixed ethanol, then the prices should come down.
That didn't happen.
That didn't happen. So that's a big pain.
So that's a pain point.
So there's double whammy, right? We lose out on fuel efficiency, and then we end up paying more when the petrol quantity is.
If you lose the fuel efficiency, if you reduce the prices, that would have taken care of that.
Exactly.
But that didn't happen. That didn't happen. So, but I think the dust has settled down now.
Yeah.
Things are normal, back to normal again.
At least
it's not the news. It's not noise.
We're not crying anymore.
That's right.
Okay. Now the other big policy talk that is happening right now is around CAFE, and we will talk about it a little bit more. But what is happening right now? There's a lot of chatter coming from various corners about automobile manufacturers fighting amongst themselves or putting their own demands.
Absolutely right, Mugdha. That's the slugfest.
Yeah.
I've never seen in my life when there are groups which are clearly divided and they're going to the media, they're going to the various ministries and even writing to the PMO office.
Yeah.
So there are two camps. One camp definitely wants, and if you see the thing, some people want clearly EV policy and don't want a hybrid approach, which is there. And the second is this new concept which has come for this small cars, the definition, this 909 kg. Something like James Bond 007. I don't know where the 909 came from. So then there is a view that if you're giving some special sanction to small cars, mini cars, I would say. I mean, and both sides have the right points which are there. A small car also says that it's more difficult to reach those dire emission standards of CAFE. So I don't think government will take a decision, but I think the challenge is that this is going on and on and on. If you have to roll it out in April 2017, there's hardly 12 months left. Yeah. And probably 15 months left. And for this change of fuel mix, getting hybrids, and then this entire concept of these super points which will give, bonus points which will give for various technologies, whether it's flex fuels, whether hybrid or EV. So this is just open a Pandora box.
All right. Now let's talk about safety. A lot has happened in safety. We see Maruti has said 6 airbags are standard across their product portfolio. So safety focus from, I think, policy side, there was, I think government was planning to make 6 airbags as standard, but they did not. They stopped themselves. But companies have done that. And the reason they have done it is because consumers want it. Consumers are insisting on safer vehicles.
So, it's a double-edged sword. One side we say consumers are asking for 6 airbags.
They're asking for 5-star safety rating.
5-star ratings which are there. But are they ready to pay a higher price for it? And the second part is the 6 airbags only makes sense if you use the rear seat belts. And the figure of, you can say the penetration of rear seat belts usage, somebody said is lower than the percentage of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, that is below 0.03% in the country. So how will this 6 airbags work? So
yeah, I think Indian consumers want safety but you are responsible for my safety. I'm not responsible for my safety.
It has to be, I think it's a very serious issue. Yeah. You got all safety norms. Now you got compulsorily 2 airbags, seat belts, reminders, rear seat belt not being used, reminders, reverse cameras. There's so many things happening. But I think the bigger challenge is, are we in that state of mind to look at it? Is there enough education on it? Enough enlightenment on this? Or an effect, really evasive action or strong action against them, which is there. So clearly, I think it's not working. All the benefits of safety which are being incorporated in the vehicle, we are not getting that benefit on the ground. So it's
Yes.
the people's movement. I don't see government has a part of it, the manufacturer is a part of it, but the mindset, the psyche has to change, which is that enforcement is probably the need of the hour.
Yeah.
We have a 1,000 rupee fine on not wearing rear seat belt. If you ask the government how many people was fined for rear seat belt, probably there'll not be even 2 people in the country. So it's the
It happened after the incident. Cyrus, after a little bit, but I don't think. I think safety is such a big problem. I mean, this year again, we are again going to have a very bad data for road fatalities. I think it's high time we start taking this very seriously. But as you rightly said, a lot of it is now on people, and we have to create awareness. And
if I have to use a Hindi film word, अब तुम्हारे हवाले वतन साथियों. Customers के हवाले है वतन.
True.
The responsibilities on them.
Make in India in auto. India as a manufacturing hub. How has that been? How has the year 2025 been? I think there have been some very significant developments. One is, of course, Maruti expanding their production plant. Then Hyundai has already committed and they are also expanding their plant in a big way. Then VinFast came this year. They started their production. So these are some highlights, but there are many more challenges to make in India as well. First being the schemes. If you really see the schemes, whether it's PLI or any other benefit scheme that government has come up with, the offtake is not that high. What is the reason, first of all, from there?
So, if you look at the government's intentions, I mean, India has to be made a global manufacturing hub, and you have to make it for materials which are dependent externally or more dependent on China. We talked of electronics in that part of it, and then we talked of batteries. So you have the production linked incentive scheme launched 5 years back. Till today, you can say the reimbursement or the disbursement has been just hardly 6-7% of that amount, just more than 1,000 crores, which is there. And we are 4 years behind, 3 years. It takes time, but it's taken more time. And if you look at other industries, electronics, textiles, there the PLI, you can say, is much higher. It's about 15 to 20%. So the way the scheme is rolled out, the way it's understood, the bar probably raised sometimes too high. Your domestic value addition, 50%, not ready. Advanced cell chemistry, outflow zero. 18,000 crores, zero. So I think the way the challenge is that your intentions are very honorable, but those intentions have to be converted into clear-cut actions, guidelines in a timely manner, and you have to do the plan, do, check, act in a very rigorous Japanese manner. Because the speed is not there of the implementation. Nobody is denying. I mean, the government intents are all very positive.
Yeah.
And somehow the industry also has a role to play. And that partnership, that collaboration with industry, academia, government, I think that needs to be worked out. Otherwise, we'll get into those 5-year plans, long 5-year plans. We don't want to get into that. The action is straight. And now we're talking of rare earth metals, a budget of 8,000 crores.
Yeah.
So need is now.
Yeah. But you mentioned rare earth metals, and this year we saw that the production of many companies suffered because of rare earth metals. And before that, it was chips, the semiconductor chips. And both these, as we stand today, we still have a huge problem around these two aspects. Chip manufacturing has started.
Semiconductor, I still would say, has started. Delhi is a very large task.
Yeah.
Started well. I will still say, grant the government, there's really serious, and the way it's being driven by the electronics ministry is is commendable.
And it happened very fast.
Very
but,
fast.
But I think globally, the entire war is happening right now because of chips. The entire tariff structures are being decided because of chips, and that has become the most important, pricier than oil commodity right now. So, where do you think what all there is to be done? Where do we stand today, and what all needs to be done?
So I think the basic thing is whenever a policy is announced, the steps, how the policy will be implemented, what are the criterias, are the criteria understood with industry, is the industry voice captured, industry also has to play ball. It has to be a very fast process. It can't be announcement and pronouncements and implementation follows. So that's, I think, a very, very important part of it. And sometimes the bar, you raise it too high. How is that only 5 companies are qualifying for the PLI? I mean, there were 60 companies or the disbursement is so low. That means we want domestic value addition 50%. But is it practical? Could we have started with 40%? Raise the bar later. We are trying to raise the bar much higher in the first instance, and that's a better. I think we have to be more practical. I'm not saying you have to compromise, but we need to be pragmatic and raise the bar on a regular basis. And then that dialogue and interaction has to be there. And the industry also has to play ball. They can't keep complaining because the government has done a lot of steps right. They also have to put their best foot forward.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you sum up the manufacturing made in India situation in India this year?
So I can only say we have come a long way, but there's still a long way to go.
Okay. But one positive thing that has happened is exports. We have seen an amazing rise in exports this year.
So 20% is the growth in exports in passenger vehicles, and even in two-wheelers, it's around 24%. So which is substantial. And this year, export figures, this calendar year, will be touching 9 lakhs, which is a straight growth of, and some companies really rate. I mean, Maruti has a 40% market share, but even exports, they have a 47% market share. It's a higher market share they have in the domestic market. So I think companies are gearing up and new markets are being explored. And the second part is India used to only focus on sedan and hatchbacks. SUV has come of age. So the Indian compact SUVs, the mid SUVs are now acceptable in markets.
Yeah.
And the Indian quality is seen. You see the Jimny being exported back to Japan. So clearly the quality has gone up. The SUV play is coming up. New markets in the Middle East are being seen. Also there is an improvement back in South America or African markets which were very badly impacted because of COVID. So overall good. But there's always a danger lurking. The Chinese are dumping, what I hear in the last 2-3 months, vehicles at very low prices in markets. Yeah. That could play a dampener, but still we are on a strong footing. I think Made in India has the Made in India brand, which was in two-wheeler started, I think in passenger vehicles, at a category is there. So that's the matter of great pride for us.
But that is a big problem, this China angle, because China has overcapacity. And with the larger countries like America and Europe being wary of China, they will need the new markets and they will come to Indian export markets for competition, and that will become a problem.
So that's a problem. But one silver lining in the entire thing is that in the compact smaller cars, China still doesn't have a much focus. They're slightly into more medium, bigger cars. So that's still a market which we can penetrate much better. The compact SUVs and the sedans and these things. So that's the positive part. And the Indian quality brand.
Their reliance is a lot on EVs as well, which is not true for India.
Which is not true for India. And EVs are internationally still has to grow. It's facing a lot of headwinds.
Yeah. Europe has gone back on its promise of going complete EV by 2030. In fact, they think they're planning to completely do away with any targets on EVs.
But the EV in India, at least in the passenger vehicles, has grown sharply.
Yeah. On that note, let's talk about EV volumes as well. An amazing year for EV growth.
Absolutely. If you buy growth numbers, it's a gain of something like between 65 to 70%.
Yeah.
1 lakh was last year's 1,65,000. But you must always remember the penetration is still 4.6%. So
growth is good because the base is low.
Base is low. I think 2-3 things good has happened this year. A lot of players have got new EVs into the market. Mahindra's brand have 2 EVs born again. The 9 have been success which are there. And even other companies, Kia has launched its own EV. Hyundai has come with Creta. So they are. And then there are new companies also raising the bar. BYD is there. then VinFast is there.
Yeah.
So clearly things are happening on the EV front. And I think most companies realize, and Maruti's EV is just around the corner.
Yeah.
So clearly all companies have realized EV is the thing of the future, it's there to stay. So people are getting serious on EVs and they're getting some serious models in the market. But the challenges of EV still remain. I mean, in terms of manufacturing, in terms of penetration, in terms of charging. But it's a good growth. And but 30%, which we talked of 2030, that's nowhere still near the horizon.
Yeah.
That will have to be tempered out.
We are in 25 at 4%.
4.6%.
4.6%, 5%.
5%. So that's about it.
But do you think EV growth is going to be sustainable from here on? We have seen great growth, but the challenges, as you pointed out, they're still the same. And yes, there are always early adopters, and they do adopt EVs. But what are your expectation? Do you think a mass level adoption of EV is going to happen anytime soon?
So, a lot of R's were there related to EV, recharge, resale, reliability, reassurance, all the parameters, the bar is being improved. Clearly, if you look at the charging infrastructure, which has been rolled out in the last 1 year, it's fairly high. And if this trend continues, this concept of, when will I get the vehicle charged and how long the charge will last, this will grow. I think the bigger opportunity for EVs is what comes out from the cafe. Because cafe is supposed to be the catalyst for EVs. Because if they make the norms so strict for petrol and diesel and hybrids are not supporting that much, then EV can get a real boost. So let's watch the space clearly for the cafe norms. Because they're talking of bonus points, they're talking of emissions. So that could be a game changer because making petrol and diesel will become more and more expensive. You have to raise the bar.
But do you think that EV adoption will have to be policy driven and rather than demand driven?
It has to be both, actually. Policy driven is the cafe policy. The demand driven is that confidence, conviction of customers, that confidence, peace of mind that should come in. Both coincide and both work together. Then it happens much more.
Okay. Now, EV, one place where EVs have really been accepted and showing great growth, actually not one, two. One is two-wheelers. The second is commercial vehicle. Both we have seen that EV adoption is quite high, especially in the three-wheeler and the local smaller commercial vehicle segment. So let's talk about what's happening in the other auto segments, including two-wheelers and agri four-wheelers, agri vehicles and commercial vehicles.
So let's take the EV part. Three-wheelers, EV is a super hit.
Yeah.
60% of the three-wheelers sold this year will be EVs. They may be the higher-end EVs or the lower-end EVs. You can nibble about those points, but that's here to stay. As far as two-wheelers is concerned, I think somehow the momentum has dropped this year.
Yeah.
And this penetration going just from 5.2 to 6%, one was expecting it to go to 7-8%. And I think the bigger challenge is we don't still have a serious motorcycle player in the EV game. And 2/3 of the two-wheeler market is
That's changing very soon.
I'm hearing this for a long time, but let it see the light of the day.
Yeah.
Up till now, there is no viable option. And so you have to look at the 6% out of 33%, which is good because scooter market is 33%. This clearly is, and the second part has been this, one side you have reduced the incentives, the demand incentives. It used to be 20,000, 10,000 or 5,000. First April will be 0. So one side that is sliding down. Second side, two-wheelers, 5%, 28 to 80. So that is also reduced. So if you see the last 3 months has been bad for the EV two-wheeler market in the total sum. So they have actually, it's flat. October, November has been flat versus last year. And December also could be somewhat slightly better. So clearly that EV benefit, because EV was playing in the same price segment. Unlike passenger vehicles where EV was playing in a different price zone. So clearly that is also a thing. And the GST actually is worked negatively towards EV two-wheelers.
Now that's a price-sensitive market.
Very price-sensitive market. So somehow the cafe norms or some special benefit has to be given for EVs. I can't say we should go from 18 to 28 back again. But EV is a challenge and the demand incentives have been just rolled back. And it used to be state government used to give a lot of road tax waivers. hardly there will be 4 states saw road tax waivers. So road tax was a big element, 10%. So one side your road tax, other side the reduction of GST or the gap reducing of GST, and the third is the PLI thing. So, so these things, I think we are still not the crunching point that we can really take off. And fourth is the motorcycles, which you said, I mean, there are companies. So that could be the game changer. But I would say EV two-wheelers, as an industry, it's not been a great year for this year.
You know, on motorcycle, I'm not sure whether that would be a game changer. I'm happy to be proven wrong, because generally in my mind, how I see market, motorcycle buyer wants that motorcycle feel, and I don't think EVs can.
Well, that's a question. It's a debate.
Yeah, that's a question. But let's talk about the other markets. What happened in the agriculture?
Tractor has been a great year. Tractor is the unsung hero. I call him the Ajay Devgan of the auto industry. Nobody talks of him, but he always gets there to movies. So
standing on two tractors.
Tractor. So tractors growing about 15% this year. And on a mature market, 15% is phenomenal. And probably this year will be around 10.6 lakhs tractors in domestic market, which will be all-time record. I mean, this is whether the crops are good, monsoon has been good, government policies on agriculture prices.
I think overall, the weather situation was very stable, and production was very.
And even the government, I think the government policies have been very, very effectively implemented down the lines. And the other thing is the TREM norms, which were coming like the emission norms, I think have been rolled back because they would have increased tractor price substantially. And one thing you must remember, in tractor, the GST has gone down from 8 to 5%.
Yeah.
So the cut in tractor prices is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Last 2 months, the market is just going up the roof. So good time for tractors. Two-wheelers could have been better. Generally, one is imagining that passenger vehicles will be 2%, two-wheelers will be 10%. Passenger vehicles are turning out to be 5.5 growth, and two-wheelers will be 7 to 8. So not the greatest of year for two-wheelers. And let's see how it behaves. That the momentum which GST is given to passenger vehicles, I don't think it's to that extent in two-wheelers.
What about commercial vehicles?
So commercial vehicle also market has picked up in the last 3 months, but the growth is still in single digits. And I think the big opportunity in commercial vehicles is the buses, the big government tenders, which are thousands of vehicles to be rolled out in EV form. And small commercial vehicles is seeing a bigger upswing in the last 2 months. So clearly good signs. Here also the industry was fairly flat from January to September. So that's picking up, but not to the extent of passenger vehicles.
Okay, now this is our 10 points of 2025. Now I want to ask you, what are the key things that you are looking at as we go in 2026? 2 or 3 things.
So one clearly is the CAFE norms, because it will change the direction of the industry. That is one thing. Other is this trade, this sentiment because of the tariffs. If the tariffs, suppose there's a good truce between India and USA, it will give a further momentum to the industry. And third is our relations with China are slightly better now. So we don't have this problem of getting critical components which anytime can arise. I think agriculture is good. If agriculture is good in the country, it will augurs well for the economy. Manufacturing, the foundations are strong. So I think overall it should be a good year to look forward to.
To 2026. Let's look forward to 2026. All right, so that's something to be hopeful about, and enter the 2026 with higher hopes. 2025 has been a great year with its own ups and downs, but 2026 promises to be even more exciting, and me and Mr. Arun will keep meeting every month to discuss the sales figure and the analysis of that month. So keep watching Autocar Professional. Tune in every month to see our analysis. For now, a very happy new year to all of you. See you next month.